And he was right.
JJ playing, starting. Yep.
All the above.
Stotts has said he's going to use the hacking strategy as he sees fit in this series. How do you see that kind of playing out as far as it, with you guys?
Just like you just said, Stotts is going to use it how he fit. I mean, he should use it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's part of the rules still. I've never had a problem with guys doing it. We've been pretty successful when guys have done it. You know, there's been a couple of times. I think San Antonio one game, and probably 2 or 3 games where it actually affected us. But overall, it's been pretty good for us.
Doc, when you look at McCollum, what do you see kind of in terms of the difference between him this year versus where he was at the end of last year?
Playing time. You know, really, when you think about it, he didn't play much last year. You know, he played in little stretches, and then I don't remember when someone got hurt on their team, and then late in the year, because of the injury, he started playing, and it allowed him to play in the playoffs. He's been a pretty good offensive player for a very long time. He only led the NCAA in scoring at least 1 year, I think, and I may be wrong there. So I just see playing time and confidence.
For a guy like JJ, whose movement is so useful for you guys, how did he look moving around these last couple of days? I know it was a concern. I guess.
Well, he didn't practice, so he didn't look very good at all, you know, sitting over there on the table.
Yesterday either? He didn't?
No, yesterday he did walk, you know, just the skeleton stuff, but he hasn't played contact basketball in a while.
Doc, now that he's played 5 games, he's had a few practices. Is there any soreness or discomfort that he's experiencing?
No, actually, he's been pretty good. I would say that's probably been the biggest surprise of at least with him. You know, I didn't know what to expect, and going by the doctors, they were telling us to actually look for that. And he's actually felt great. The one back-to-back game he wanted to, I had no interest in playing him. He literally talked me into playing him and felt great after that. So that's all been great for us.
Have you had a chance to talk to Steve about the Paul Allen angle of this series, and if he's having fun with that at all?
No, I think I don't know if an owner can bet, but you know, I'm sure there's $1 billion thing here somewhere. So I don't know. Yeah, I didn't even think about it honestly. It's the first time I just thought about it was literally when you said it. So no would be the answer. I'll bring it up though.
Doc, you ever been in this position before, getting your team together back so late in the process?
I don't know if I have. I think 1 year with the Celtics in 2009. I don't think actually my memory serves. Kevin never made it back, but we thought he was coming back. If you remember that, he never made it back from the injury. But other than that, not where your key guys, you know, coming back. So I would say no.
So how do you feel about it? Like, curious?
No, you know, it is what it is. Like, I accept what we are and what we have. I never get too bent out of shape with stuff like that, you know. The one thing I can guarantee, the other team could care less, and they're not going to feel bad for you or anything like that. So I think our guys have handled it very well, Mark. I think we've done reps, a lot of skeleton work that you would do in training camp, where usually veterans get very, you remember, it gets boring, it's monotonous, and they hate it. Yet we had no choice. I mean, when you call a play in, Blake, and just the timing, guys don't even remember it. You have to keep doing it. So that's been unusual, and we just decided not to add much going into this because we just didn't feel like we had the time to do it.
Is part of the process not knowing what it's going to be like? About how cohesive they're going to be until you see it? Yeah,
I mean, you can work on it all day you want to in practice. You can, but you don't actually know. I mean, this is the games Blake played in, unfortunately, were games that didn't have a lot of meaning, and this one will. So I'm just glad we got him back. Let me say this. If he hadn't played one game and could play tonight, I'd still be happier than if he couldn't play at all. So we have him back, and the biggest surprise again is his endurance. I didn't think there's any way he could play the minutes that I think we will be able to play him, and so that's the biggest surprise.
For a player like Wes and Austin last year who've never played in a playoff, are there certain challenges that they face, kind of overcoming any excitement or nerves?
And well, Austin played last year
I
in
know,
the
but
playoffs.
like last year when.
Yeah, he did pretty well. So if he can do what he did last year, I'm all good with that. Wes, on the other hand, is new experience. I don't know if Wes has a heartbeat anyway. So, I mean, he is as calm as the guy I've ever been around. So that doesn't mean he's not anxious. He may be, and you always watch for that early on. But Wes does what we asked him to do, and that is when you're open, shoot the ball. And so if he can do that well for us, it'll really help us.
I think the numbers show for the regular season matchups, Damian Lillard's numbers were about 7 below what he's normally had. What were the keys to that?
Well, we dropped him a lot, and live with it. I thought Terry did a pretty good job the last game on adjusting to the traps. Like Lillard didn't score as much, but I thought they stretched our defense out with their ball movement, and so I think we have to adjust to that a little bit. Lillard is going to be Lillard. He's going to score. He's going to be a tough guard, and so is McCullough. I just think playoffs are built for those two because most sets you take the team out of, and then it comes down to ball movement and individual plays, and the more individual players that you have that can make individual plays usually benefit your team.
Doc, playoffs are playoffs, and guys are going to be amped up for them regardless. But playing the last game Sunday night and having, 7 games on your screen, what does that do to a player or a coach? Does that raise energy levels? Does it add to any anxiety? The fact that, it's the playoffs really started yesterday at noon, but they don't start for you till 30 hours later.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we did this last year or 2 years ago. Was it last year? It's interesting being the last team. You've seen all these games. Sometimes you look at it, I guess, both ways. There's a lot of upsets or stuff like that. Is that a lesson? I have no clue that far. I mean, from a playing standpoint, coaching standpoint, it doesn't matter. But playing standpoint, you never know if they would have rather played yesterday or earlier this afternoon. I mean, who knows? I'm sure it'll affect some.
You guys needed the day, though, for Reddick, right? I mean, that...
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was a big plus. Yesterday, I think even if we had played yesterday, JJ would have tried to play.
Mm-hmm.
Doc, with coaches that have won rings, along with players that have been on other teams that have won rings, the first game of the playoffs, they showed the rings to the rest of the players. This is what you're playing for. Is there a moment like that tonight before you go out on the floor with your players?
No, I would have to find it. I'm not kidding. I literally would have to find it. Actually, I think it's in Orlando. So maybe Paul will do it. I'm sure he probably has his somewhere. So, but yeah.
Doc, you had 12 players who averaged at least 13 minutes a game. Is there a thought that some of those guys aren't going to be part of this regular rotation for the postseason?
Yeah, for sure. There's that thought. I don't know if we'll go that deep. It'd be nice if we can, but I don't see that. All right, everyone. Thank you.